Hello and welcome to another edition of Your Property Matters with me, Mark Stern. What I want to look at today is the psychology of buying homes, okay? Talking about it from a buyer's point of view, because even if you're selling your property, you are still a buyer. But we sort of tend to put on two different hats when we're selling and when we're buying. When we're selling, we can't believe that nobody wants to buy our property. And when we buy, we're looking for every reason why not to buy a particular property. Now, I want to sort of share with you my own personal experiences. And this sort of goes back when I first bought my very first property in Watford in 1989. And in those days, getting all nostalgic, things were a little bit different. So, you know, we were all in our late 20s as groups of friends. Everyone was getting married and buying their first properties, and you'd go in and you'd look at things and you'd immediately think, you know, you look at Rex, you would absolutely look at Rex and think to yourself, right, well, I'm going to be knocking this wall down here, I'm going to be changing this, I'll change this, I'll make this room a different room, and everything was being moved about, and the whole house was going to be rejigged completely. In fact, it wasn't even a house back in those days. My first property was a maisonette on Chalk Hill. So things have sort of evolved, you know, and I remember that when we sold that property and actually moved out to Kings Langley into a house, I remember walking around the house and the owners would take me around, and they would actually, the owner would be so proud of the fact that, you know, he'd done all the electrics in the house and he built the whole kitchen by hand. And I'd be thinking to myself at that time, wow, you're a clever man. Wouldn't be thinking to myself, well, are the electrics going to be dodgy and is the house going to blow up? And everyone was proud in those days of doing all their own DIY and actually passing that on, that information on to potential buyers. And maybe we were naive, maybe we were just very grateful that we were getting, you know, something that was great, like, wow, this is incredible, this house, the size of it. And we overlooked so many things, and I remember spending sort of 2.5 years when I bought in Kings Langley actually doing the house up, literally after work, every day, coming home, working for a few hours, working into the evenings, working on weekends, and doing it all up myself. And I would then be the person with my limited skills that I would then be passing on to the person that bought that, saying, wow, look, I put in this like this bathroom, I tiled the bathroom. People don't want to hear those stories anymore. Buyers do not want to hear that you've done anything yourself. What they want to hear is you've had a professional, certified builder, contractor into your property, and they've done it all for you. So things have evolved, and buyers' expectations are completely different now. So when you're selling a property, are you marketing it to a buyer, or are you just marketing it from your own perspective, thinking, well, everyone's going to love my home, it's the best thing since sliced bread, everyone's going to love it, and that's going to be it. So what are buyers looking for today? Well, what I sort of found over the last probably 8 to 10 years as an agent is that when people come into properties, first of all, it's hard to visualize how furniture would look different in the room. They're not just looking at things as a blank canvas. They're walking into a house and they want to see you present the property to suit them, not necessarily to suit yourself. So the most important things is that you are staging your home now. You're now staging it. Imagine it is a show and you are putting it on show. It's a presentation. You want your property to stand out. It doesn't necessarily need to be, you're not presenting it as if this is the way we live, which I must admit, we do that. When you put a property on, it's like this is your home, you're living it, people come and see it, they come and see your home, how you live it. But in reality, the ideal scenario, which is why new homes sell really well from the show homes, are that they're staged. So there's no clutter out. Maybe there's a lovely, you know, glass coffee table with a few, you know, best home books sitting on them. And you know, the furniture's all lovely and plumped up and looks great, and it's the right size furniture for the room. You know, the pictures, there's a few paintings on the wall, nice paintings, but there's no personal stuff out there. And what I find is when people go in and show people around properties, what they tend to do is if you've got like, you know, 50 photos out of your grandchildren and your relative here and your relative in Australia and this one and that one and your dog, they look at the pictures. It's human nature that you just walk in and you look at pictures. And they go out of the property and I'll ask them, so what did you think of the bathroom? Oh yeah, really nice, really nice. And all they're thinking of is, do they know you? Have they seen that face somewhere before? So the best advice I can give is take down lots of personal stuff. They don't need to see your personal stuff. Paintings look great. Anything that stages your home and makes it look really good, have that out. Buyers really want everything done and visualise themselves unpacking their cases and moving straight in to their own life in your home. I think now also with COVID, people are now looking for space where they can work. And it's really important that if you've got 3 bedrooms, that third bedroom, and it's not being used, you know, although you probably are going to be using it as an office. I use, you know, using my room upstairs, my spare room as an office as well. So what I would say is that I'm finding that buyers that are going around now that are looking at properties are looking to see, is there space to put an office? So that's a really, really important thing, is deck some part of your home out as your office. So now let's look at the way that agents are presenting properties. So are they presenting them as if they were the buyers themselves? Now, I had a woman contact me yesterday and she hadn't been on the market for that long, less than a month. But she'd had no viewings at all, and she wanted to know why she wasn't having the viewings. So I looked on her property online and I saw quite a few things which I'm going to share with you now that are not that attractive to the buyer. So this is the way the property is currently being marketed on Rightmove. It's a nice 1-bedroom flat in Crouch End, top floor flat. The inside of the property is actually really clean. It's empty, it's all fresh carpets and fresh painted walls and just looks nice, but it's very compact. Now when you look at the description, if you'd notice on the top right hand side it said 511 square feet. Now that is not big. And that is not a property feature. If anything, that is something that would put people off, I feel. So I'd probably leave that, put it down somewhere in the description, but not as a feature. And probably replace that with some better features. For example, the property's got a decent sized lease and a very, very low service charge of £665 per annum. So I'd put that up there. So it's just little things like that will make people phone the agent and inquire about the property, and then hopefully the agent will then get them in. I would also probably suggest doing some form of video of the flat, maybe suggesting that you could put a little office space at one part of the living area. It's you know, right now certain properties are selling straight away. They're on the market for a week and they're gone, and others are just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And I just think that there's a focus that needs to be put out on certain properties, so that they've got a chance of selling as well. So I hope you found this quite useful. Please feel free to subscribe if you're seeing this on YouTube. If you'd like to join my Facebook group, you'll find me under Your Property Matters, or should I say Your Property Matters. I'm very passionate about property. I love helping people about property, and I'd like to share my experiences with everybody else.